Kamie has spoken out about Catfish being cancelled, but also how she was very intentionally left out of the announcement about the cancellation. Huge thank you to all of you who left comments letting me know that Kamie had addressed the catfish of it all in an episode of her relationship podcast. I usually watch the video versions of all podcasts, so including this one. However, Kamie only spoke out in the audio exclusive version of her podcast. I do think that her speaking on things in this way was an active choice she made to not only protect her peace, but also to take advantage of the ability to speak directly to her biggest fans. I will leave the episode link down in the description below if you want to hear it yourself directly, but let's get into the breakdown of it all. She starts off by addressing the absolute mess that the world is currently in all facets, by saying that everyone has lost their minds, and I could say I agree. But she then gets into the catfish of it all, and she says that hosting Catfish has been an absolutely incredible experience and has done wonderful things for her career.
If you missed it, you may not have seen that after 11 years, MTV has decided to cancel Catfish, which is the show that I have served as co-host of for the past 6 years, which has been an incredible experience and just a very monumental career moment for me and coming into my own.
She has been working as a TV host since she was 19 years old. So while she has been doing this and hosting for a long time through a variety of different avenues, different TV shows, different networks, Catfish was truly her big break, and she does acknowledge that.
I have been working and had been working for 7 years before booking Catfish, which was my big break.
Kamie is very grateful for her time working on the show. She expresses gratitude to everyone who was a part of the show, including Catfishes, and she actually took a moment to give a special shout out to Ashley Taylor, as y'all may know her from the iconic line, Bok Bok.
Ashley Taylor, obviously the Bok Bok Bitch episode was, very memorable. But Ashley, like you could see Ashley in my Instagram comments every time I post almost, because that's my bitch. Like, yes, we had our moment. That was very real. Yes, I thought she was going to be the reason why I had to spend time in federal prison.
Hearing that Kamie and Ashley are locked in, they're kind of good online friends, is so funny to me, but I will also say that that is a testament to Kamie's hosting abilities and her ability to make the best out of a horrendous situation. I do have a full video about this episode that I will also leave linked in the description if you're interested. But walking into the episode, Ashley truly hated Kamie, like hated her bad. But walking out of the episode, they were friendly, forgiveness was shared, and now it sounds like Ashley is one of Kamie's biggest virtual cheerleaders, which is such an odd yet somehow endearing and adorable turn of events. Kamie also acknowledges that the Bok Bok moment with Ashley Taylor actually allowed her to win a lot of fans over and proved that she could not only hold her own, but she could do so while extending grace, empathy, and compassion to everybody involved, while also still holding people accountable when necessary, okay? Perfect blend, if you ask me.
If it wasn't for that experience, people would not have been able to resonate with me the way that they ended up resonating with me. I think that moment proved to a lot of people that I could hold my own and that I could do this job. And that I wasn't afraid to stand up to anyone when it came to speaking up for myself or other people.
She then gives us a timeline of events as it pertains to her time on the show, or rather, the time leading up to her exiting the show. So we find out that Kamie officially left Catfish in October of 2024, but she then gives us exclusive tea that I don't think she's mentioned elsewhere yet. She actually had not filmed a Catfish episode since March of 2024. This is news to me and probably news to a lot of you as well. To me, this means that she had been thinking about leaving for a lot longer than the public even knew, and this also makes me wonder what issues were arising behind the scenes, which made her stop filming in March and announce that departure months after. So we then get a full Catfish-related timeline breakdown from her. Kamie says that she joined Catfish as a guest host in September of 2018, and in July of 2019, she became the permanent co-host after guest hosting about 6 episodes. In September of 2021, she launched her podcast, Relationship, and in May of 2022, she got an overall deal with Paramount and MTV Entertainment Studios, which is when she was hosting Catfish, but she was also missing from a bunch of Catfish episodes because she was off hosting other MTV shows, such as X on the Beach and Are You the One?
I joined Catfish as a guest in September of 2018. I guest co-hosted 6 episodes of the show before becoming the permanent co-host in July of 2019. In September of 2021, I launched Relationship, my podcast. In May of 2022, I got my overall deal with the network with Paramount and MTV Entertainment Studios.
At the time that she was missing hosting Catfish to go pursue opportunities, I don't think anybody thought anything of it in terms of, oh, this might be because there's tension, there's beef. But now it has me kind of wondering if, the network saw that there were these tensions going on the show between her and whoever else, and decided to give her the hosting opportunity, not only because she deserved it, not only because she would do a great job, but also because maybe they were trying to entice her to stay with them a little bit longer than she had planned on it, or to kind of ease whatever tensions were arising. This is just purely speculation, just my pure questioning thoughts. There's no proof to back any of this up. By March of 2024, she had stopped filming Catfish altogether. In October of 2024, she formally announced her departure.
By March of 2024, I had stopped filming the show altogether. And by October is when I finally announced it.
Kamie expresses that leaving the show was in fact a very difficult decision, and that those who speculated that she was holding back the true reasons why she decided to leave the show were right.
And many people felt that I was holding back in expressing my reasonings for leaving the show. And you would be correct.
Okay. Kamie makes it clear that she's intentionally not sharing everything that led up to her decision to leave the show. And while I and many others like yourself are curious and a little bit nosy, because we are just nosy people by nature, we want to know what happened. But at the same time, she does not have to share anything she doesn't feel comfortable sharing. Kamie says that part of her decision to keep things private is because social media wilds out, basically. People speculate unnecessarily, they create rumors, lies, and conspiracies that are extremely far from the truth and could actually end up making her look bad. And I think we saw this. I'm not going to name whose video it was, but a little while before Kamie announced her departure from the show, there was a creator's video that didn't have, in my opinion, a lot of factual basis that a lot of y'all were tagging me in and asking me to talk about. And I didn't talk about it for that reason. I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about your opinion of a situation or making it clear that you are just speculating and you're just putting your thoughts out there. But when you're saying things as if they are fact and you don't have any proof to back that up, that's where you kind of lose me. So I can understand why she didn't want to put anything out there and allowed it to get twisted and turned in a way that she was not comfortable with. And before y'all say anything, she's not talking about me here. She said she saw my video about her exiting the show and she loved it, okay? This is not about me. This play's not about us. Kamie says that when the Catfish episodes did air, she was often live tweeting, interacting with fans, and giving insider information while keying. And she thinks that this could be part of the reason why people are expecting her to answer all of their questions and expecting her to essentially divulge information she's not comfortable sharing. She says that she loves being able to share things, but also makes it clear that some things do not need to be publicly shared.
And what my career has positioned me to have, and the people that I'm able to know now and that know of me now, I can appreciate those things while also having boundaries about what it is that I will and will not share.
But since being off the show, she continues to uphold very strict boundaries regarding what she will and will not share. We then get into the meat and potatoes of things. Kamie directly addresses the Catfish cancellation announcement made by Neve and Max. She makes it clear that she has absolutely no issue with Neve and Max making their farewell video, speaking about their experiences and everything the show has meant to them. If that's what the video was, there would be no problem. No problem. You're allowed to do that. She recognizes they're allowed to do that. But she then says that it was extremely noticeable to all who watched the video that any mention of her was purposely excluded from the thank yous.
Neve and Max made a video talking about their memories of being on the show and how much of a blessing it's been to their lives and all of those things, which is all well and good. It was very noticeable to people who watched that video that I was purposefully left out of the thank yous.
Kamie then shouts out the gum and other things that Neve and Max mentioned in the video in this very comical and concise way. In my mind, she didn't say this, but this is my interpretation of things. She's saying y'all had time to mention the gum and every other little random thing, and somehow those things were more important than the 7 years that she spent on the show. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Shout out to the gum, though, because it did come in clutch. And there were a lot of other things that were in the center console they weren't mentioned that deserve recognition. Maybe even over me.
Like, it truly is insane to shout out the hotels, all the different airports that you were in, the gum in the center console, but you couldn't take time to mention the Black woman who was your co-host for the last 7 years. Like, let's be for real. Kamie then says that she saw people arguing online about whether she was left out on purpose or not on purpose. And she says that it was very likely on purpose.
People were arguing whether or not it was on purpose or if it wasn't on purpose. I can tell you that it was likely. If I had to bet my last dollar, I would bet that it was on purpose.
And because of that farewell video, people are very upset and voicing their disappointment for her exclusion. And she says that people have the right to do that. But Kamie then says that she did not expect to be included in the video. And while she appreciates the outrage, she was not expecting to be included because that was her experience.
I was not expecting to be included because that is my experience. I really don't know what to tell you.
Now, the way she phrased this was very interesting to me. And it only personally fuels my curiosity as to what was going on behind the scenes. Because to me, in my opinion, this statement by Kamie, as well as other things that we talked about in the previous video, made it seem like Kamie was often excluded from recognition or acknowledgement in the past, so she was not expecting this situation to be any different. Which, what an awful experience to have. You've been excluded so much that you are not expecting to be included in any way, shape, or form. Right? This also goes back to what I said in my previous video, that some of her social media comments alluded to previous mistreatment from Neve and or Max. She makes it clear that she has gone through healing, therapy, prayer, and crying, so she is just very accepting of how things have played out. She appreciates all the love, the support, and the flowers, but wants us to know that she is all good.
That at this point, acceptance is like the place that I'm at. I don't know if that's like the final 7 stages of grief, but like I'm at the acceptance part and I'm good.
So because she's so far removed, these are me kind of paraphrasing what she said, because she's so far removed from everything that went down, it's not affecting her as much as it might have, say, a year ago. She makes it very clear that Catfish fans were absolutely the highlight of her time hosting the show. Kamie then also says, and this part is important, right? She says, if it's clocking to you, it's probably because it should be.
And as I've mentioned, if it's clocking to you, it's because it probably should be. It's because it is.
Hey, yo!
AKA, if you're sensing intentional disrespect, disregard, and erasure, then you should be, because that's the reality of what happened or what is currently happening. She's saying a lot here without really saying a lot, and it's very much giving if you know, you know. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then you're understanding. The girls that get it, and if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. That's what it's giving. Kamie says that she has been minding her business, and she addresses everyone who is speculating about an NDA and says that that is absolutely not the case. She has not been silenced. She is being silent because that's what she's choosing to do.
I have been silent, not silenced, because, by the way, no NDA is involved here. I don't have an NDA. I'm choosing what it is that I want to say and what I don't want to say.
She says, however, she does feel a responsibility to correct people who are spiraling out about things that are not true, right? And that also, we talked about that in the previous video, where someone had said that their fallout was related to Kamie standing up for Palestine, which free Palestine all day, every day. But they're saying that that was part of the fallout, and Kamie said absolutely not. And I will note, I have not heard anything from Kamie about anything said in my first video addressing all of this, so do with that information what you will, okay? She didn't correct anyone over here about nothing. But she then makes it clear that she does not feel a responsibility to talk about things further or speak on things for the satisfaction of others. If she doesn't want to speak on it, then she won't. She then says that comments pressuring her to speak on things won't work on her, and I can say that I truly respect her boundaries. Would it be nice to kind of know what was going on behind the scenes? Yes, because I'm nosy, right? And I want to know, I'm curious. but does she or anybody else involved in the situation have an obligation to speak on it? No, you don't. Kamie then says that she should be thanked for what she is not saying.
I am someone who does not need recognition or a pat on the back from any particular person, and I should be actually being thanked for what I'm not saying. When am I going to get a thank you for that? I should be thanked for being quiet when I don't have to be.
Now, that is very interesting to me, right? Interesting, okay? But also, to me, in my opinion, makes it very clear that she is holding things in her vault of secrets that could damage some people's reputations and careers. She says that you are allowed to like drama, you're allowed to like tea or be curious, but that's not going to change her stance on things. She's very firm about this. But she also says that she doesn't have to ignore when it feels like she is being baited or purposely left off of Bad and Bougie.
What I'm not going to do, though, is ignore it. I don't have to ignore it. If I'm being baited or if I'm like purposely being left off Bad and Bougie, like I I have the right to respond how I want to respond.
For those of us that get the reference, you get it. And I will just say, do I think Neve and Max were being intentionally antagonistic and cruel by excluding Kamie and all of the other women who worked on the set of Catfish during their send-off? Absolutely. I think they were purposely leaving them off of Bad and Bougie, and while we cannot pinpoint exactly why that might be, we sure can speculate. Yeah, we sure can speculate. Kamie then basically says that Neve and Max were being petty, and while she has the right to be petty in retaliation, she will not be doing that.
If something petty is done to me, you mean to tell me it's cool when they do it, it's a problem when I do it?
Kamie reiterates that she hasn't been doing anything this whole time, and yet some people are going out of their way to make it seem as if she is the problem. She says that she can recognize that the love and the outpour that she has been receiving stems from many of us having a shared experience with her and not being valued or recognized for our work. Kamie then herself says that the Kamie erasure is insane.
The Kamie erasure is insane.
And that comment right there, I'm gonna just say, that right there is for anyone who had the audacity to ask how they were trying to erase her. It's very obvious, okay? And she's recognizing it too. Kamie then makes it clear that where she is at, there is no erasure, there is nothing that anyone can do to take her out of her spot, and I love that she is in such a place where this doesn't really seem to be affecting her. She says that she is protecting herself, her future and career by not speaking on the mess and mistreatment behind the scenes.
And I am protecting myself, my future, my career, maintaining my professionalism, my integrity, me.
By choosing to leave the show, she was choosing herself, and she says that she will continue to do so. Okay, period, queen. I think that that is a very strong, very powerful message. I think you should always choose yourself, and sometimes it can be quite hard to do so, but it always ends up working out in the best possible way when you do so. Kamie then begins to wrap things up by saying that when she is ready to speak on things further, she will. And I hope that she will. And when she will, know that we will be talking about it, okay? But this makes it clear that something absolutely was up, and the way that she was speaking throughout this part of the podcast makes me think that something was definitely up between her and Neve, especially when she says that things were weird, but that the things that were weird didn't come from her.
I'm not going to be gaslit. And I'm not going to gaslight you either. Okay, so if you've been wondering if something, yes, duh, come the fuck on. Like, if that wasn't more obvious, I don't know what to do. Hello, but it didn't come from me. It did not come from me.
She then makes this Santa Claus reference, which to me makes it seem like someone on the show presented themselves as someone who they absolutely were not. This could also mean that the seemingly close relationship her and Neve had on the show was not a real relationship outside of work. They were just co-workers at the end of the day. And because they're filming a reality-esque TV show, there needs to be some sort of chemistry. And I don't mean romantic chemistry. I just mean like friendly banter, things of that nature when you are filming together, right? It has to come off that way.
I hate to be the one to be like, Santa Claus isn't real. But it doesn't take away the moments that I did have.
Kamie then says that Catfish is one of the most iconic TV shows, and she is also sad that it's canceled because at the end of the day, before she was a host, she was a fan just like the rest of us. She gives a big shout out to the crew, And she even gives Neve and Max a shout out.
That fucking crew are some of the hardest working people I think I'll ever work with in my entire life. Neve and Max started something absolutely incredible, and to be a part of it is even more incredible.
Y'all see how simple and easy and demure that was? See how easy it is for her to give everyone their flowers without purposely excluding Neve or Max? Interesting. Interesting. She then makes a little jokey joke about Black women not being able to enjoy their matcha in peace, and damn, let me tell you, that's kind of how I felt after making that last video. But that's everything that she said so far, as of right now, October 6th. So the Cat Blaque, if you don't know who Cat Blaque is, she runs an absolutely amazing channel that I personally enjoy, and I think it opens your mind to seeing things from a different critical lens that you may not have otherwise considered. Cat Blaque, love her. Cat commented on my last video about the Catfish cancellation, also giving us a little bit of insider tea, which I believe is very important and very relevant. She says, "I'm not sure if this may be a part of it, but I was a part of a group of influencers who auditioned for Kamie's role. All of us were Black, feminine, and had some clear connection to diverse causes. It was clear in the audition that they wanted to find someone other than just another white man to be a host. I am not necessarily saying that that's the reason why, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was, kind of saying that that could be the reason why the show came to an end." This tidbit of information was very eye-opening to me because it's clear that the network did not want to continue the show if it meant Neve and Max, two white cis straight men, would be hosting. This also goes back to what I said in the previous video, that the show would not have any longevity and would have limited future success without diversity in hosts. So thank you, Kat, for that tidbit of information. It's appreciated, girl. This part is also just strictly speculation coming from me. I have no proof to back this up. These are just the thoughts that are going in my head right now. Based off of the information that we have available, I'm thinking that maybe after Kamie left, Neve and Max were adamant about wanting to do the show together. The network wasn't really fooling with that idea, so they decided to drop it, but still allow them to shop the show around because it's whatever at this point. They've made so much money off of it. They have the rights to everything that's been filmed thus far. Some people were also saying that they don't think Max was being serious about coming back. I don't think he was saying that as a joke. Personally, I do think that he was kind of prepping for a comeback, especially because he came back and hosted an episode himself, right? Kamie wasn't there, it was just Neve and Max. And we have covered that episode in another video. I'll leave that linked in the description as well. But even when he was present, and throughout that video, I remember saying multiple times that I don't think either of them handled this in the best way. I think Kamie would have handled it in a much better way. So I think that was just a little sample, a little tester as to how both of them would now handle kind of a diverse situation, because a diverse and nuanced situation, because that episode was Zara and T. It involved feederism. It involved a Black woman being treated as a fetish. It involved infidelity. And in my opinion, even Max didn't really do a great job of hosting, but Kamie would have done a great job of hosting that. So that was the ability for the network to see, yeah, maybe these guys aren't really such a good combination anymore in the modern day and age of 2025, in the same way that they were decent hosts in 2012. One other thing I just have to address really quickly based off of the last video, a lot of y'all were in my comments and in my DMs talking about, why do you make everything about race?
You stupid.
Be fucking for real.
Be fucking for real. Be fucking for real.
You sound very ignorant and very foolish saying that to anybody, let alone saying it to a Black woman. Because of the way that our world operates, everything is in fact about race. That's not a question, is not up for debate. It is in fact about race. Racism is a systemic problem. Anything that ends in an ism, classism, sexism, racism, indicates that it is a systemic problem, which means it is quite literally ingrained into every aspect of our lives, which means it affects all things. Whether you personally acknowledge that fact or not, whether you believe that it's a truth or not, doesn't change the reality of things and doesn't make it any less of a fact. That is a fact that I am not willing to argue with you about. You can argue with someone else about it, but no, it will not be me. But if y'all made it all the way to the end of the video, wave a dropping hand in the comments, because this will likely be our last Catfish video about the cancellation. I don't think there's anything else to really speak about. I'll make videos if someone has something else to say. But after this, we will be getting back to regularly scheduled programming of TV commentary, okay, besties? I thank you so much for being here. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you're aware of every single time that I upload. If there's something else that you would like me to talk about, another show, a specific episode of Catfish you'd like me to talk about, you can drop it down in the comments below, or you can leave me a DM here on Instagram. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. I'll see you in the next video.